Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. This is an awful rack. I'm going to change. And I don't think there's anything worth keeping. Possibly 1N, but I'm going to change all 7. Okay, well, not a bingo. But I do have a balance of vowels and consonants, and I have scoring tiles in the W and the F. The U and W together lack synergy, and it's going to be difficult to play off both of them. Well, I was hoping my opponent might play a floater, but he's also changed. So, what to do with this rack? I could play WOF, but that's keeping a lot of vowels. I could play fewer. This is going to score well. But the rack leave isn't great. 30 points. Well, that's quite a kind pickup. I've got a scoring tile in the J, and I didn't duplicate either my O or my U, and I don't have a hugely vowel-heavy rack. Now I can play Jowd in column 6. Another change by my opponent. So, Jowd in column 6, 35 points. Leaving DIU, not a great rack leave. Can I do better? Judo is on my rack, but I can't play that to good effect. I think this is the best I can do. Another awful rack, but not bad enough to change. Whiz is good, but the rack leave will be poor, and at the moment there's nowhere to play that. But despite these bad racks and my initial change, I do have a 60-point lead. Now through an F and an L I would have Zoofoli. I'm looking around for places where my Z can play, and I haven't seen anywhere great. But it's not essential that I play it off immediately, because this rack is a long way away from a bingo. Right, only 18 points for my opponent. That's good. Has he provided somewhere for me? Well, yes he has. I can play Dursey in row M. That plays off the U, which is good. Plays off the Z, which is good for score, and it splits up the duplicate I. 30 points. Have I missed something better? Now, I note that my W can go next to the O of Jowd, so what's available coming down in that spot? I could play Wed, but then I'm keeping way too many vowels. I can play Ode in that spot. Actually, let me take this back. So if I play OWED, 37 points, keeping IOZ. That is tempting. 7 more points than Dursey. And instead of WIO, I'm keeping IUZ. Actually, the rack leave is a lot better after Dursey. So even if these moves are close, I'm going to go with the one with the better rack leave because it's easier to manage the subsequent rack. Through an R, I would have Woorari. There is an R in column 8. I'm going to score almost nothing. But it is going to sort the rack out. I have Jowari in row F, which is going to score more. And I still have the O spot, OWE, in column 7. Just looking at what my opponent has provided. Now, if I can place my W here and come down here with a 5 or 6 letter play, it will score a lot. But I don't think Woodier is good ending IA. I think it's Woodsier. So I'm not sure I do have a good play there, unless I just play a 4-letter word, wood. 29 points, keeping AAIR. Well, that's worth thinking about. What about Jowari? 18 points. Keeping AO. AO or AAIR? Well, neither is clearly better. So, is there anything better than either of those? I note that my opponent has used a blank in his scoring, in his last move of Chi. Woorari's not going to score very much. Can't see anything in column 7. Apart from OWE, but that keeps 4 vowels. And if I play OA, I'm keeping 4 vowels and no consonants. 33 points, though. Well, I think this is the least worst move I've seen. Just wood for 29. That's good. My rack could have been a lot worse, and I have the X, which is a good scoring tile. I'm wondering if there are any 8-letter bingos with this set. I don't think there's a 7. I'm wondering about auxiliary. I think auxiliary is good through an L. Great, only 18 points for my opponent. I'm still got a 40 to 50 point lead. Now, what I can do is Yex down here. 51 points, which is a great score. Rack leave's not too bad. Can I do better than that? And I note that I could put my X here. But if I put my X here with a longer word coming down, I know XE isn't good. But if I played laxer, for example, then I'm retaining the Y, which isn't bingo-y. So I think this is the only way I can get rid of the Y and the X. Three A's. And no bingo. But I'm about 100 points ahead. And Yex has not provided very much for my opponent. X does take an O after it, so column 8 is available for words with RO in them. I have a scoring tile in the V. Now this board is quite tight, and my opponent has not opened it up, but he has failed to score very much, which is good. So, I'm looking to play off my V. And a play of AVA would leave an okay rack leave, but I can't see anywhere for that. Well, There is row L above the I of Jersey. I'm looking to see if I can play one of my A's underneath the Z. But I have nothing to go underneath an I. So, if I play AVA above the I of Jersey, 9 points. Awful. And I'm opening the board up. I'm looking in column 2 to see if I've got something coming down here, placing an I next to the G. I'd like to play off 2 A's as well. Can't see anything there. Wow. My time is coming down a lot. So, what can I do? I could play boy R in row G. £13 points, that's not very good. I'm thinking about playing a Vale across here. None of the rack leaves are great. And this, by playing off 5 tiles, I'm increasing my chances of drawing an E, an S, or a blank, and the rack leave is okay, but only 11 points. That's quite nice. I have Notarial in column 10, but my opponent may well go there since that's where I've just played. I have Xration in row I, but unfortunately RA is not good, so that doesn't play. My opponent bingos with 77. He's now only 20 points behind. Now, do I have a bingo? So where are the bingo lanes? I don't have a 7-letter bingo with this rack, I don't think. There's the R of rapines. Can't see anything there. There's the N of rapines. Again duplicating a tile on my rack. I'm just checking that Notarial doesn't slot in alongside rapines, and it doesn't. Okay, I can't see anything. It'll be pretty annoying if I've missed something. I know boy takes an O after it, so column 8's available for words ending OR. I can play piano in row H, which is going to take out a hotspot and sort the rack out and score reasonably well. ART is a good rack leave. 24 points. Just pausing because I don't want to miss a bingo. And if there is one with this rack, it's going to be very high probability. I don't have oration. One of my A's would need to be an O. Yep, I think that's fine. Piano. This is quite a bingo-y looking rack. Through I'm looking at urethral, I'd need an R for that. But the R of rapines is in the wrong place. So, has my opponent provided anywhere? The U and the L together aren't particularly bingo-y, so there may not be a bingo here. I've got the ultra prefix with HE. I don't think Lutheran is good. If it is, that would play in column 14. Does it have an anagram? And I'm looking at the time, only 8 minutes left. I mustn't get caught on time. I have a slender lead, about 20 points. But this is the balancing act. Do you spend time looking for a bingo? Or do you play quicker in order to have time to spot bingos on future racks. Now, do I have laughter? Ah, not quite. Nearly laughter in row C. I don't think that has any anagrams. I've got the out prefix. Okay, I'm reluctantly going to give up on this rack. There could be something here. So, I'd like to keep the board open because I'm close to a bingo. I want to play off my H and my U. Just wondering about halter. H-A-U-L-T-E-R. Don't think that's good. So, I could play halt down here. $24 points, and I'm keeping the board open, and AER goes well with the N of piano and the L and T of halt. I don't feel this is a great play. Now, I have Dancia, and I've blocked the row N spot for that, annoyingly. But surely there are other bingos with this rack. I think there's an anagram of Dancia. So, what do I have? There's the T of halt. Do I have a bingo with that letter? Dicentra. And crinated. My opponent's blocked both of those. What about the N of piano? Crannied. Yep, I think that's good. I'm certainly going to play it if I see nothing else. What about the O of piano and ogive? Well, it's not coming to mind. Certainly high probability if it exists. And what about the G of ogive? So an anagram of deracing, cedering. Can't see anything there. Now, I do have acridine through the I of ogive, and that places the C here. I think I'll play that. I quite like keeping the board open. It enables me to keep scoring. With 3 S's left, this is slightly risky. But it's unlikely that the S will be played with a bingo. Through an I would have cleaning, and I've just blocked that I. So this isn't a great rack. I'm going to struggle to score. I'm looking in row B to see if I can place my C on the triple letter square. 5 minutes left, 18 tiles in the bag. Do I have anything through the O or the A? Congeal plus an N. So I've got the con prefix. I don't think so. So I need to start playing a bit more quickly. Now clang would sort the rack out. Four and a half minutes left. Nice score by my opponent, 37 points for him. I note that there's a Y left, and the Y would go nicely on the end of wood. Four minutes. Now I could play clean across here. And this is the advantage that it plays off a lot of tiles, which expedites the end of the game, which is good because I'm ahead. It increases my chances of drawing the blank or the Y. It scores well, 32 points. It's providing extra hotspots for short words, which is good. The more of those that are available, the more that will be available for me. Now, let me have a look at the vowel situation left. There are 20 tiles unseen, 13 in the bag, 7 on my opponent's rack. 7 vowels out of 20 tiles. Okay, so I could be in for a vowel shortage, but I have drawn the Y, so I can play NY across here, conserving my vowel. Nice bingo by my opponent. He comes to within 20 points of me, but burns the blank in the process. The remaining tiles certainly not bingo-y, although there will be some bingos amongst them, but quite a few high-scoring tiles, so this is going to be a tight endgame. Now, this spot is mine, so I don't have to play it straight away. What about playing across here? I could play Drongo. I could play Dory across here. Let me see what that looks like. "41 points. I'm inclined to take that because I've only got a 19-point lead. This increases my chances of drawing an, well, the one remaining S. Ah, yes. Grody. Even better. "61 points. That is massive. Grody, Row, Ober, Den, yeah, all good. Wow, I certainly was not expecting a 60-point play with that rack. 1 tile in the bag, which is perfect. And fortunately, I draw 3 vowels. There is only 1 vowel left, an I. My opponent's got all those high-scoring tiles, but he's got no vowels. Yet he does well, 45 points. He is now 35 points behind. I can see what he's got, MMRST. Not very good, but there are vowels to play through. Through an I would have punition. No I's. Very close to it coming down here, but not good enough. Now I'm looking to put my P here. Can I do that? Only 1.5 minutes left, so I'm looking to go out in 2. How can I do that? Well, what does inept look like? At this point, I'm just looking to guarantee the win, because time is so short. So inept, only 18 points, but that leaves me with ONU. So I can play Auern down here. Do I have a second out? Lown down here. So this guarantees me the out. Can my opponent do anything amazing with these tiles? I don't think so. Well, certainly suboptimal, but I have only got 30 seconds left. So my opponent is 53 points behind. I don't think he can win from this position. I've got NOU. 24 points for him. So I've got Auern down here. For 5 points. Is there anywhere better? "12 seconds left. I think I'll pull up stumps here. just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 376 to my opponent, 421 to me. A winning margin of 45 points. Great game. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. I changed, and that's certainly better than the alternatives shown there. And this is what my opponent changed with. And then this was my rack. And I played fewer for 30. I could have played fewer for 6 points less, keeping EW. I prefer my play. Ooh, lots of N's for my opponent. This was my rack. I played Jowd for 36, and that looks best. Nice rack for my opponent. He didn't bingo, though. Could he have? Yep. Tritones and Entrist, Strident and Tridents. This was my rack. Ode was what I was thinking of for 37, but didn't like the rack leave. I played Dursey for 30. The rack leave looks poor, but it's significantly better than IIUZ. So I still like Dursey. My opponent has the blank and the Q. This was my rack, which was pretty grim. I didn't see Orzo for 32. I played Wood for 29. And that looks fine. Orzo scores 3 more points, but it's keeping the W instead of the R. I prefer my play. My opponent's rack. Now, what was available here? Yex for 51, that was my play. My opponent's rack. He played Boy. And I had 3 A's. And I played a Veil for 11. It didn't feel great, but as you can see, there weren't any great plays. Nice bingo by my opponent. Now, did I miss one? No, I did not. That's good. And all the options there, fairly low scoring. And here's my play of piano, keeping ART, which is the best rack leave available. My opponent plays Ogive. Now, was Lutheran good? Nope, it wasn't. Fantastic. And Holt for 24 looks fine. Actually, is that being... Yeah, that is being played where I played it. Not a nice rack for my opponent. And this was my bingo-y rack. And I saw Cranede and Acridine. What else was available? Canaried and Radiance through the A. Wow. They would certainly be nice plays. 80 and 78 points. Instead, I played Acridine for 64. And here are the anagrams of Dancia that I didn't spot in game time. Cairn and Carnede. So I managed to find the lowest scoring bingo and dropped 16 points as a consequence. But certainly better to find one of these bingos than none of them. My opponent's rack. He played Obeah. This is where I had Cleaning without the I. Clango won. I didn't see that. Oh, wow. I just completely overlooked this lane here. 5-letter plays ending in G to make Zag. Zag and Clang. Certainly the best play. Well done if you spotted that. Not difficult to see, but I managed to miss it. And I played Clean for 32. Clang would have been a lot better because not only does it score 8 more points, but it also retains a vowel. And in particular the E, which there are none left. Of which there are none left. This was my opponent's rack. He bingoed with Needless. And after a while, I found Grody for 61, which is best. Not a great rack for my opponent when he's 80 points behind. But Fisk was a good play. Now, what was available here? Punto A6. Ah, I spotted that YA took an R in front. I forgot that it took a P in front, so Punto or Put On would have been the best plays, I think, in row A. Instead I played Inept for about 10 fewer points. My opponent played Mim. and I went out with Aon for 5, and D2. I could have played Lown for 1 more point down here, but not to worry. Either secured the win, and that was the end of the game. So quite an exciting game, interesting variety of racks to deal with. A suboptimal bingo in Acrodine, but it's very hard to find the optimal bingo every time, so you shouldn't beat yourself up for not spotting it. So I hope you enjoyed that game and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.